Let's start working on the liquidation model by filling in the series up at the top here in this vicinity. So we'll fill in all of these here. And we'll start just by saying shares, right? So series B shares, and that's going to reference the shares owned by the series B right here on the cap table. And you see that that wasn't summed. So what I need to go through is make sure that's summed, just like the other ones. Don't include the share price on that. So we have 474,000 shares there. Series A is the same thing. So go in and reference the Series A shares. And then Series seed shares. Then we'll do the common. The common's all the way over at the end here, and that was what was issued originally. And then we have options, and the options is the sum of these three numbers right here. So we need to make sure and sum that, and sum these three numbers right there. So the formula looks good. There we go. And so the totals, sum the total for 2370, 137, and make sure it matches here. It should match this number right here, which it does. So we go there. For right now, let's leave conversion shares alone, since we haven't done the anti-dilution part of this course. Once we do that part of this course, we'll come back in and add in the conversion shares and make the model work for anti-dilution too. So the next thing we need to do is come in, and I'm going to eliminate this part of share price times preference. I think I can make that a little bit easier. So instead, let's just go in and reference the share price for each series. So we do Series B, Series A, and Series Seed. And then we'll need the cost too. So the cost is just, so we'll go and do that too. Very simply, the Series B cost be this sum of that column, and the Series A will be here. It's 2.1 million. The Series Seed is this amount right here. This 1.232. And now we know we have the amounts there. We need to go in and do the liquidation. So the liquidation preference dollar amount is basically the cost times the actual liquidation preference. We don't know the liquidation preference yet, but we can go in and reference them in the previous cap table. So the Series B, we put in a 1x liquidation preference down here. So we'll reference that. Same here on Series A, looks like a 1x, and Series C as well. I know this is a little tedious, and it's not really learning much as other than just referencing different cells, but they'll all come together here in a minute. So the liquidation preference dollar amount is the cost times the liquidation preference, and that is the same for the Series A and the Series Seed. And we can see too that if we go back here clearly and change this 1x to a 2x, we get a 2 right here, and the liquidation preference is now 20 million instead of 10 million. Okay, so go back and move that back to 1. And now we need ownership percentage. So we're going to calculate ownership percentage on this page rather than referencing the cap table. And that's also due to the conversion shares and everything else that will be coming up. So the ownership is right here, the number of shares divided by total shares outstanding. Lock in total shares outstanding so we can drag this down to all of them actually. And I'm going to format that as a percentage, which if you don't know how to do that quickly, it's Alt-HP on Excel. Alt brings up the hotkey menu, H is the home tab, P is percentage, so that makes it easy. Then we have whether or not it's participating, and that is just a reference to the cap table as well. So let's go back in there and reference the participating 1 or 0, and same thing for each series that you have. Okay, so now we have whether or not they're participating. And so we have 1 equals yes, 0 equals no, right here. And that's how that goes. And I'm going to put this in a box too, because we know it's referencing a yellow cell in a different sheet or in a different tab. So we could come in and change this if we wanted to on this tab, but I wouldn't do it unless it was for a quick reference. And then you're going to go right back to having the cells, having the formulas. So that's how we start or get our liquidation model started.